Phoenix is rising. Coach T here, and I'm going to keep this bit short. I'm a little bit late um, dealing with some stuff. I know a lot of us are. The topic is karma, and let's get into our prayers. So I'm going to say the warfare prayers. If you guys, just slow it down. What I used to do is before screen capture and all that other kind of stuff is I would write it in my notebook, a prayer or something. I love Joyce Meyer, still do today. She was a big part of my evolution in spirituality and kindred spirit. So I would write down what she would say, as a prayer. Hey, recite this or whatever. So if you want to, go ahead and do that for this warfare prayer, spiritual prayer. Father, Mother God, this day I bind Satan, all territorial spirits, every principality, power, spirit, ruler of darkness, wicked spirit in high places. I take divine authority over every familiar spirit, spirits above them, around them, below them, known or unknown. I bind them all with all their assignments against my spouse, children, family members, businesses, our intellect, our minds, our bodies, our souls, and our organs, all on assignment against all that we are, have, and possess. We break loose from their operations right now. I break their power and communication lines. I break their supply lines. I curse all of their works and assignments at their roots. I speak spiritual deafness, dumbness, blindness, confusion, paralysis, and incapacitation upon each and every single one of them, and throw all of their plans and activities into continual violent confusion and disarray through the spirit of power and of might of the Holy Spirit. I bind their monitoring spirits, elementals, marine, and the like, all on assignment up their chain of command. I bind them all up and from off of each other and from all mentioned, my loved ones and myself. I loose us now from them, along with all that we are, have, and possess. I now decree that all that I have spoken and do speak has already come to pass in the realm of the Holy Spirit. I decree all of these prayers accomplished already in the realm of the Holy Spirit. I decree that from henceforth they are unable to see, hear, or understand my moves or speech, that they are unable to track me or watch my activities, that they are turned against themselves and cannot carry out their assignments. I curse at the roots all that they attempt, all assignments, blueprints, plots, plans, designs, seedings, works, plans, activities, wiles, traps, and snares. I take them all captive to Christ consciousness and cast them down as vain thoughts and imaginations, along with all demonic ministry to my thought life. I break off of us all curses, hexes, vexes, bewitchments, spells, cantrips, ligatures, judgments of witches or warlocks, all acts of evil, magic or witchcraft, black magic, candle magic, potion magic, soul ties, bindings, workings, voodoo dolls, effigies of or likenesses of me and my soul tribe, sorcery, blood pacts, blood sacrifices, blood covenants, animal sacrifices, child sacrifices, human sacrifices, and rituals to Santa Muerte or any other demonic god, and all occult practices of any kind. I bind them right now. I loose us from them now. I break them off of us now, and I curse them all at their roots. I decree them all made null and void, canceled, never manifested, never come to pass, cursed and destroyed at their roots, rendered of no effect, cast down as vain thoughts and imaginations, and never seated, judged, and spoiled. In Jesus Christ's name, amen and ashe and asheo. And now I will recite Psalms 91. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in him will I trust. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, pardon me, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee on all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet. Because he has set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and shew him my salvation. And I'm going to pause. Wait just a minute, Phoenixes. All right, Phoenixes are rising. I had to clear out some whew, persistent demonic energy that won't leave me alone. And so my father's going to have to get involved. So, a little bit about me. My name is Tennille, and I am a transformational coach and a NARC coach. My focus is Black, lesbian, and trans 30 to 50 who have survived a relationship with a cluster B personality, be they family, friends, co-workers, boyfriends, girlfriends, etc., and are now ready to transition into a new life, and ready to take the steps that I guide them through to get there. And though these steps can break generational curses, get to you to know the Most High God better, and regain confidence and clarity. And I think that the best part is reconnecting with your higher self, your authentic self. And I've always often said, once you know yourself, you know God. Okay. I'm not just a coach. I am also a survivor, though, and I am a survivor of gang stalking, death, witchcraft attacks with the black goo included, narcissistic abuse for most of my life, but especially for the last 10 years. And 3 of those 10 years, I was homeless, and I survived by focusing and by allowing the Most High God to guide me on my hero's journey, um, to with the 4 steps that I'm taking you through now. If you are currently a client of mine and listening, and my spiritual, for spiritual, financial, and physical and mental freedom. So, just briefly, 1 is reveal, 2 is heal, 3 is grow, 4 is show. All right, and those will be cycling through the ticker below the video. So, but in a nutshell, coaching with me is different because we talk about the occult. We talk about, because that's what I have gone through. What I am dealing with right now are stalkers. Some of them are still breathing, and some of them are not. And we talk about cluster B personalities, and really I can't. I was like, okay, well, with this practice, what am I going to do? Am I a transformational coach or am I narc coach? Well, you have to transfer. The matrix is narcissistic, so you have to in order to transition out. You got to know exactly what they were made of. You got to get the schematics of what you were dealing with. Right, so that's what I take you through, and I feel that I bring that's it's genuine of me to do that, because a lot of people with ours, deny they come from this clinical. No, I have seen demons in the spiritual realm because I got the gift of sight, amongst other things, and many of us are multi-gifted. Okay, we're earth angels, we're chosen, and it's time for us to be activated, and I am here as a coach to guide you through, and just to get you guys to know the difference between um, life coaching and consulting, is that I have the power if I'm consulting, you have the power if I'm coaching you. Okay. So I am not trying to take anything from my clients. I can lead you to water, but it's up for you to drink. A lot of people say, oh, those are just so easy steps. And, there's nothing really to it. No, it's what you put into it. The steps are a guidepost. It's like, okay, what has been revealed? Right? You still have, father issues. Okay, who was your father? Reveal who was. And so that's what I went through. It's like, okay, God kept bringing up into my mind's eye my dad. What about him? Because I thought, okay, I've forgiven this, whatever, I'm over it. But I didn't know who that man was. I didn't know the demons that he housed. And that's why they were still clinging. See, once you understand who a cluster B personality is, that they are pretty much a flop house for demonic entities. So that's the cluster B cocktail. If you have one diagnosis, you have all of them to a greater or lesser degree. They all work in tandem. Cluster B personalities because of the sociopathy, really, they stick with the template. They are creatures of habit. They're obsessive compulsive. So they're going to keep doing the same thing repeatedly. It may be in a different setting, right? But they're going to pick pretty much the same type of targets, right? So when you understand, and they're also going to leave residue on you, or just in case they're able to spawn themselves, so to speak, back into your life energetically first and then physically. This is a spiritual battle from cradle to grave. Before it's anything, I've said to Phoenixes, if you remember, before you meet somebody, you meet their energy. And that was proven to me last night when I was at work. Or, yeah, last night I was at work. I'm back again with working so much, but I'm grateful for the opportunity, and God has been so good, and in this tough time, because if you don't realize, we are transitioning, and we're transitioning into having our ships come in, and there are a lot of these demonic entities, these principles and principalities that do not like to lose, and so they do not want us to come up. They don't want us to get what is coming to us, because we've already made those declarations and those decrees. Once we found out that we were royalty, once we got uncovered our authentic self, we were able to say, hey, you are you were trespassing on my empire, right? Your empire is yourself. You are earth, right? You are the wind. You are the fire. You are the water. And you are the ether. Understand that. What the cluster B personalities and these in the matrix try and get you from the cradle to the grave. They know that you're coming in. If you guys ever go watch the first Matrix, at least, because those heat seekers, they were looking for energy. Everything was energy. And that energy manifested. So I mean, just like energetically, they could download. I was doing that before the Matrix even came out. I just didn't know what to call it, you know. So anyway, because a lot of people, they're so devastated, and especially Black women. And as much as God has let me know within the last 2 years, within just this last 7 months, in you know dealing with people who disrespect Black women, people of color, and I'm talking about other women who do this, which is, me as a lesbian. And I mean, I don't have to come out. Some people, know, and some people don't, but it's nobody's business really, right? Um, but the violence that people are so willing and ready to express towards Black women for not allowing ourselves to be mammified. Go back and look at that live that I podcast that I did. Talk. It's called Mammy. Very simply, I think that was the 2 hour one, so it might be in two different ones or maybe one. So it's a long listen, okay? But yeah, it's blown my mind to the point where it's made me so. I've been so sad to realize that other women, and usually when women are demonically possessed, they become more masculine. And not to say, and this is just from a spiritual, you can tell the difference. I'm not talking about masculine representing women or anything like that, because I am one. I'm a two spirit. Okay. That's not what I'm talking. I'm coming from the occult, from a spiritual perspective, and what I've seen, what I've heard, and what I've felt. Because these women, like, so the other night I was at work, and there was a lot of tension. All it wasn't suddenly. Um, when sometimes you're the witches and warlocks are so hard pressed to try and make me homeless again, and they're mad that they don't want me to reach my goal. Okay. I've been energetically blocked. I know that I have a good podcast. It's not, it could be greater, but the Most High has said basically just wait on everything. Because, and I also said it's like we get tired sometimes, Phoenixes, and which is natural, to when we keep being sabotaged in our endeavors. And the Most High has pointed, because what the Most High was doing was like, no, you're okay. You were obedient. You did exactly what I told you to do. Right. And it's not you, it's them. Right. And then I had to be checked again, because I'm like, okay, why can't you just, cut it? And he was like, it's not just about you. And I heard that plain as day. It is not just about you. Right. And so that's when I kind of changed my tune and started saying prayers um, for anyone in my soul tribe, or anybody who has had the misfortune of dealing with the gang stalkers that I have dealt with and know by name, some of them, and especially the ones who are very persistent. And so um, I forgot what I was getting to with that, but mm, yes. So we get tired and we get frustrated, but because they keep going, and that's what the devil can do, right? That's what the devil can do through these people. And that when you realize that you're in a spiritual battle, then you can expand. When it says in the Bible, increase my territory, this is spiritual territory first. You cannot have your a physical territory increased. I mean, if you want to do it right, I mean, you can force your way, right? Then you become no better than the narcissist. But you can't have it. Is when they talk about in may my your territory being increased. I'm trying to think of the Bible verse verbatim, but I don't have it, so I apologize for that. But when they're talking about in the Bible, increase my territory, you have to increase your spiritual territory, which means that you have to you have to expand your mind. You have to think outside of the box, which means sometimes you're not always going to be reading the Bible. Sometimes you're going to be reading the or listening to the Vedas, right? The Upanishads, the you may get something from Nichiren Buddhism, or a Buddhist text in general, right? You may read something from the Quran. You may go to an event put on by the Baha'i. You never know, right? So, but if you want your territory increased, if I want to leave a legacy of wealth, I have to what? Find out and learn about trusts. If I want to invest in tangible, uh, uh, something financially tangible, then I have to, if I want to build a tent, I got to go and read about how to build a tent. Okay. If I want to bake a cake, and specifically, if I want to bake a German chocolate cake with with walnuts on top, right? I have to go and look that out. So I'm this is why I say I'm spiritual. I'm not religious. I tell them I'm not a Christian, but I will go to the Bible. If they bring it up to me, I'm going to go. I'm going to go to it and I'm going to show you it. But I also know that when I started I got to my authentic self, not just by the Most High. And see, when you expand your mind, when you get out of your comfort zone, the Bible is very comfortable for people. The Quran is very comfortable for people. I mean, shit, even, Hindu texts or Buddhist texts are comfortable for people. You have to be flexible, so that way you don't break when it's time to bend. Okay? Because if you don't, you want to know, well, who am I? What am I? What's my purpose? Right? And I mean, it's not saying that you can't find it, but there is going to be a time with whatever that you tap out. You only go so far. Okay? So if you're coaching with me, if you're going to take the 8-week program from sealed to healed, know that you are going to have to expand your mind. You're going to have to be ready. You can't get defensive, because as soon as you get defensive, you shut yourself off from the sunlight of the spirit. And shutting yourself off from the sunlight of the spirit is shutting yourself off from your authentic self, which is shutting yourself off from God. You feel me? So yeah, so I know that we've all been kind of tired. The energy, again, as I was starting to say, this is a transformational energy. And forgive me because I am stuttering a bit, because I have been under heavy attack and it has not been funny. I have had them try and put me out of commission so I can't work. And it's not the first time this demonic entity does the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again, like a broken record. And the some of the problems with with certain type of cluster Bs from certain financial backgrounds is that many of them are so lazy they don't want to work, and so they will use government funding, right? Like Social Security or any type of disability or whatever they can get a free handout from, because they're gluttonous, and they have all the time in the world just to do witchcraft. I mean, like I used to have that time, right? When I was afraid and I was people pleasing and I was on social, so welfare stuff. And, but I knew, and my goal was to get off of it, and now I find people trying to put me back on it, right? Because I'm not supposed to succeed. One thing that a cluster B will do is try and make you into them and themselves into you. Okay. Remember, you are dealing with a cocktail of demonic entities under narcissism, antisocial, sociopathy, psychopathy, histrionic, borderline, bipolar, and I'm missing one. I think I already said antisocial. But yes, it's 8 demons in a cocktail. So So when we and I the reason why I wanted to do this karma is because I was like, okay, so what can I do? Because I've covered this before, but this is something different. We have to realize that, and we can't focus on that. True warriors aren't going to focus on whether some, a demon is going to get their comeuppance. They've already gotten their comeuppance because they had a chance as a human, right, to get to know themselves, clear any type of curses or whatever, right? To purify their bloodline. And they chose instead to dirty other people's, to take them off the path, right? So another scripture that comes up is, you know, um, it is better for you if you attack these children. It is better for you to have a stone basically tied around your neck, and you're unalive. And so you don't touch the Most High's children. We are the Most High's children. And when somebody basically purposely goes out and when somebody goes out purposely, consciously to hurt people who have the heart of a child, but are very intelligent, very um, intellectual, right? You're messing with them on purpose because you're jealous, right? So a lot of the Bible is occult, is metaphysical. I think I would say is metaphysical. Sorry, I'm still looking up that verse. Let me see here. Pardon me. So, and it is metaphysical, and I'm understanding that more and more and more and more, and it's very much. It amazes me every time. I think that sometimes that we can get really down because we're it feels like we're surrounded and enveloped, and like I have a psychotic stalker. I have two of them, and I don't know if the one's alive. And I think I might have gotten confirmation. I did get confirmation. I did get confirmation that one of them's not even alive, but they did some type of ritual before they passed to cling to me. That's somebody that's super obsessed. That's somebody that's that's beyond an obsession. Like I don't even like I'm like wondering, like, did the demon tell you to do that or what? You know what I mean? Just so that you could survive, and I'm like nowhere around. So I don't know. But it's been very heavy. The energies with the planetary alignments and the um Mercury retrograde and the new moon and eclipses and all this other kind of stuff, as it says, as above so below. So we're working it out, and these guys are really, there's sometimes where um I'll feel things like 10 times worse and just feel like my body's sinking. Like right now it's feeling like, I can't move my legs or whatever, but I was like I wasn't feeling that way before. And so that's how you could tell if it's witchcraft or not. Um, Here's the verse. If anyone causes one of these little ones, those who believe in me, to stumble, it would be better for them to have a large millstone hung around their neck and to be drowned in the depths of the sea. Woe to the world because of the things that cause people to stumble. Such things must come, but woe to the person through whom they come. Matthew 18:6-7. And this is just the new King James version. It's in NIV version. So that's what I mean is when we are thinking about karma, they're already in karma because they lost their humanity. There is no saving grace. There are no ancestors that are going to help them. They don't have that type of spiritual team that we do, that whispers in our ears, that, transforms like the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them when they, so I know I'm looking at it from a post production special effects, right? And that was the big thing for all of us After Effects uh, uh, people to learn. Okay, how do I do this from Harry Potter and the Fantastic Beasts? How do we teleport? Anyway, but I mean, you have it comes from someplace, and I desire for you guys to know who you are so that you're not um taking you're not being breadcrumbed. We've been breadcrumbed enough, right? So when when you're asking, it's like the Most High God already said it's going to be better for them. It's taking a long time, I know. It feels like it's taking forever, right? It feels like it's taking forever. And that's because these guys are fighting for their lives. Imagine knowing that you're about ready to get your ass kicked in the heavenly realms. Now, when I think I was the second year in this fight, when I was in Sacramento dealing with this Mexican cult, and I mean, taking over the city, and this is what they did. And they would basically, everybody was subject. It's either you got put on, and if you didn't want to be put on, then you were targeted because you're a threat, right? And so even if it's not the Mexican gang specifically doing it, I understood yesterday where it was, I got a reminder rather that no, you guys are involved. And a lot of times when people are involved in such demonic, depraved actions against somebody else, they lose their mind. That's their karma. They don't got a mind, right? But they're holding on to us, phoenixes, as long as they can before that final bell rings and court starts again, right? That justice is delivered. You're sentencing, you're being arraigned, you're done. It's over. So they're hoping beyond all hope. I've had my heart attacked. I have had my thighs attacked where felt like I couldn't get up. It's not the first time. They were attacking me before we moved, 7 months ago. And because they did not want me to go anywhere. So, and I mean, because of the bizarre things that I have seen and survived, also makes me a great coach because you're not going to surprise me. Doesn't mean that I won't have a reaction, but it's not going to be that of surprise. It's going to be it might sometimes be of pain, right? Because I understand. I understand what it feels like to know that a pattern, because what cluster B personalities narcissists do is they create a pattern like a Pavlov dog because they want to give the illusion of power over you. So that way, I mean, because this is what my dad did. One of my dad's friends when I was, God, 5 or 8, 10 or something like that. And, he didn't even have to ask me. I think that's why some of us become submissives, right? In in the scene, in the bondage scene or whatever. Some of us become submissives because, this is how we were treated. Like we were treated like slaves, right? So one of my dad's friends was like, oh my gosh, she, they serve you pretty well, because he didn't even have to ask for a glass of water this time. He had a thing for ice water, and he didn't even have to ask for the ice water. It was like, I just saw the cup. I said, okay, he's going to ask for it. I'm going to go get it, get my brownie points, right? But that's not the way that it really went, because he didn't care about me. He was a cluster B personality. He was more interested in my stepsister than he was interested in me. And that would be a curse for me from the rest of the family, because why not me? Right? My stepmother actually said, it should have been you if you would have been attractive enough for him. Dig it? Right? So, and I saw him go through his karma once I released his sins from me. because him as a cluster B, they want you around so that they can energetically use you as a shield and a garbage can and a weapon and a healer and a sex object. You see what I'm saying? You're a one-stop shop for everybody when it that is a cluster B personality, that is a narcissist, right? So they're already getting their karma, right? It just has not been finalized. Imagine being dragged, kicking and screaming, right? And the audacity of these demons who have messed with children, trafficked humans, sold drugs to and didn't care and bought, you bought because you got everything with drugs. You got it with guile. You got it with lying. You got it with manipulation. You got it with bullying. Now, because I've done the work and I know who I am, even though I still go through weak moments. I mean, there was a time last week where I was like, I'm done. I'm done. If they, I'm tired now. I'm tired now, and but I still kept going, right? Because the Most High God keeps showing up. They have never failed me. My spiritual team has never failed me. My guides have never failed me. The Most High God Himself came into my dream to let me know what He was doing. And an angel representative said in that dream, He really loves you. He doesn't do this for everybody. I have spent 15 years in isolation, lonely, cried myself to sleep because I wanted somebody to comfort me. I wanted somebody to hold me. I moved thinking, gosh, I have never wanted to date so much in my whole life. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, I'm not a dater, but just to see people, just to do things instead of always feeling like you're being arrested. I have somebody in the physical realm that is stalking me and paying people to do so. So I know how hard, how lonely, how unrewarding being a spiritual warrior can be. I understand it. And so we are thinking, when are they going to get their karma? Right? Why haven't they gotten it? Why are they still blocking our blessings? I saw it coming over the horizon, and then all of a sudden there was darkness. The longer there's coming a time, and I really do predict after by July, I really do. I think within the month of July, something's popping off, right? Um, because there's been, I mean, like, so, and then there's, and we can't forget. Sometimes God already knows. Our spiritual team already knows. Look, you guys have been through some shit, so just let us take the wheel for a minute, right? Because sometimes we're so used to warring and so used to taking action, whether it is reading, the warfare prayers repeatedly, right, to get that demonic entity and spirit out, whether it's, for me, chanting mantra to rid my environment of demonic forces and intentions against me, my babies, right? I go through this whole list, right? And you never get this time just to enjoy life. It's hard. So you're like, when are they going to get their karma? Because if they get their karma, that's punishment. Because you put out an evil action, so you get back that action eventually, right? And when somebody sends you something from a Buddhist perspective, when the karma is, and I read this in a book long ago, and I wish I would have remembered the book. I noticed with myself that anytime it kind of gets siphoned up, like the principality or whatever has plagued my family, um, doesn't want us to remember certain things. So here's what happened. Somebody did some witchcraft today, and just an example, somebody did some witchcraft on my I think they were doing witchcraft on my job. Somebody does not like it that I have a job, because me having a job means that I'm not going to be homeless, right? And so this person wants me to be homeless so bad, right? I don't know why the person wants me to be homeless so bad. I just think it could just be a competition thing, that doesn't really make sense. But this person is still working towards it. So I got an attack. It, what was cool about it was that I could see in detail that it was coming. I could feel it because that person tries to confuse me, and they go to the right side of my brain. The right and they try and attach themselves as well. So there's memory in a certain area, as well as, the right creativity, but there's memory. So what I find is, so here I am, I'm getting scheduled, right, for these shifts, and I get these notifications. Oh, your shift has changed. Your shift has changed. I get it a couple times, and I call the first time, and I end up getting more, adding on to the shifts. But they said, oh, well, you're supposed to be there at 3 or 2:30 is what I thought he said. And he said, no, 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 you're there at 3:30, 3 something something. And so they bumped you up an hour. And so then after I get through talking to him, then I get another email saying that my hours have changed and to please call in. So here I'm calling in because my hours have changed. Now, not every time, um, not every glitch is from the devil, right? I've learned that. But because I have been cloudy and foggy lately, I've the transmission sometimes is hard, right? Um, so I called anyway, and I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking, and I'm like, I screen capture the calendar, from the site so I can have it, for my personal, and I know what's going on, right? So, and I was like, okay, I recognize the spirit of confusion. It's formulating, but it's not a tornado yet, right? It's just like a dust devil. And I said, okay. So I called them again. They were like, nope, nope, there's nothing. I don't see any change. You're fine. You want me to send it to you again? I'm like, okay, yeah. So somebody had done witchcraft to try and make me seem like I'm crazy and thirsty or whatever, right? Because I'm overcalling. And this is not the first time. Since I've been here, I have been sabotaged twice by the same demonic spirit, right? Um, and I felt it, and it's the person behind it. So, but they're demon possessed. So that's why this person, when you play with witchcraft so much, one thing I've seen, again, I can see into the spiritual realm when it comes to, because there's demons that are floating around, dude. Like, I mean, I've had flashes in my peripheral, and those are angels fighting demons. If you are looking at, if you feel there's a bright flash, like a flashlight, right, but it's kind of metallic-y or whatever, um it's just a quick flash though, out of the peripheral, what either side, that's your angels fighting the demons. Doesn't mean that you're demon possessed. It just means that there's a demon that wants to end you, because they brag that they could, right? um so in recognizing that, so it's not that you're not, it's, I was aware enough to back off and say, I'm not going to do, okay, I'm not going to do anything. But I think that the Most High wanted me to call in, and because I've the spirit of procrastination was on me too, where you just feel so lethargic, you don't want to do anything. I'm like, usually I have a lot of energy and I'm a go-getter and I'm traveling. I was like, but my feet hurt, right? And it's for a while, but my feet been hurting, whatever. And my body gets attacked too. So where I feel that I'm bloated, I can be fine, and all of a sudden, it's not all of a sudden. It's I'll feel some of somebody's murderous intention. Is basically like if you've watched anime, you'll hear the characters talk about I felt his murderous, chi, and that's what I feel. And after that, then I blow up because it's fight or flight. So my body is going to react like that, right? So anyway, if they weren't, if the point that I'm trying to make is that if the cluster B personality was not going through karma as soon as you left them, because you're no longer in the way, but as long as your thoughts are with the Most High God and your purpose, and you're not debating, there's nothing, you know what I mean, you're not romanticizing the relationship, you're not allowing them to influence you into romanticizing the relationship through their hoovering or their psychic hoovering, right, trying to whisper to your picture an image or effigy of you, saying, yeah, you like me, you love me. This is what this woman had told me, like, you're in love with me. No, I'm not. Like, I remember, seeing her as I'm in my tent homeless, right? And she's laying on her bed and she's like, yeah, you're in love with me. Like, your priorities are screwed up, right? But she thought that she could humble me. And that's what these people, these creatures need to do. They need to humble their targets so that way they're docile and they do not run, right? But since you have fought, since you have made your declarations and your decrees, since you have fasted, since you have prayed, since you have cried tears of joy, tears of hate, tears of I give up, you have cried, you have gone through the gambit of emotions, but you have stayed the course. Whether you have reached your final destination, your soulmate, your purpose, if whether your coaching business is successful, whether you're, whatever type of business that you were going to do is successful or not, or you got to stop and God said, hey, just wait because they're going to keep knocking you down. Wait for me to remove them. We got to put some chess pieces on, in the play on the board, and then I'll let you know. You'll know, right? Because you'll feel this alleviation, from all that. It'll probably be, you'll feel light as a feather because you'll just float like a helium balloon, right? You'll just float. And we're tired, I understand it, but and as long as we're not sitting there wondering, oh gosh, when are they going to get their karma has already taken place the first time you showed resolve. And I've told you guys this story in other podcasts. When the devil had to, this, I think this was the last test, when, because I felt it. It's like God was like, okay, fine, right? He's like, I got you. When Social Security disability was like, hey, you need to renew. So basically, what my gang stalkers had done was steal my mail. So they continued to steal my mail. One of them was so mad, she started taking my mail because I was making $26 an hour. I had some, the what is it called, discretionary income or something like that. Um, so I could, buy a few little things. And she was mad because I was receiving these packages. Now this is the stalker, right? This is the stalker who's telling her gang member friends, and they're texting her when they see me, right? So with technology, and the flying monkeys, it's like you never have a moments full of peace, especially if they're getting paid $15 an hour. Hey, I get paid $15 an hour, and I get to, pretend, and I get to snoop, and I get to do whatever, I get to violate this person's space and home and traumatize them and terrorize them and never have to take any responsibility. Oh no, right? Until they run into a super empath like many of us. Dig it? So she was hiding my or stealing my mail. You can't hide it. They were stealing my mail. And the reason why I knew, so here's the thing, when that happened this today, where I kept getting emails and emails, it reminded me of the post office, because I literally had to report the post office on two different occasions because they had my packages. Like, they literally had my packages, and I saw them. I took a look at them. He would not give me my packages. And I mean, I'm not exaggerating. Looked at this old, and it was a Hispanic guy. He would not give me my packages, right? So, and then from then on, I was stopped getting mail. They would sift through and be like, oh, she's getting this. Let's not give her. And, and because I am clairaudient, and when you stick in somebody's, and even though these guys try, you can't. Because if I don't get a whiff of you, the Most High God and my ancestors are going to get a whiff of you, and they're going to let me know that you're spying, and then to clear you out, right? I have some stubborn ones because they're drug addicts and they can't feel anything. They're apathetic anyway, but they're drug addicts. That's all they do all day, because all they're doing is doing witchcraft, right? A lot of these guys get paid to do witchcraft on the side. That's their side hustle. So, you know, um, I recognize that same tactic. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, God, can you hurry? So I understand. But as long as I stay the course, and what I had to do between yesterday and today was just disengage and be happy and chipper, right? Because they're trying to get me to seem as if I'm out of my mind and I'm crazy. And the other thing that happened too so here I'm screen capturing my schedule, and I had worked 2 extra days this week. There's a certain pay period, and I had worked 2 extra days, and more than what I would have normally gotten. And all of a sudden, I couldn't find it. I mean, like, I'm looking through. It's like, I have not thrown anything away. What is going on here? Right? So imagine that you did something, you physically saw it, you went over it, you're looking at it. Not only did you see it online, but you saw it offline again, right? So somebody energetically was trying to tell me that uh you know that they were going to try and mess with my job again, right? So and the Most High let me know something. So that's why we got to do. I just took another screen capture of it, because I'm like, oh my gosh, they keep telling me. And before I started the live, what the Most High said is, they never changed anything. Your schedule has been the way that it's been. So they will cause you illusions. They will create illusions around you to try and make you seem crazy to other people, in the hopes that, because that they're messing with you, so you'll be enraged, right? And I almost did this yesterday with the lady was mad because I wasn't calling her ma'am, okay? Because she's not my boss. She's supervising an area that me and another guard were stationed at. And he said, she came over just said, so what are you guys doing, da, 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 and we'll get you radios, da, 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 right? And I'm like, okay, I'm just sitting there listening, and I'm like, okay. And he goes, yes ma'am, yes ma'am. Not because he's trying to step and fetch or anything, but he's just being polite, because he likes to stay out of the politics. But I'm just like, I'm not referring you to ma'am, just like I'm not calling anybody Jesus who's not. I don't care what you were named. I'm not calling you that. So that's me personally, right? Okay. So I was just looking at something. I'm like, okay. But so what will happen is because they know that you're getting ready to get your payback, that you are getting ready to reap the harvest of your positive seeds that you've sown, right? for all this time. Some of us have gone through gang stalking for 20 plus years, some of us a little less, but we've done the work. We've done the work that we needed to do, and it wasn't supposed to last this long. And we know with narcissists, they never want to let go because it's their ego. They have a huge ego problem, and they got competition with anybody and everybody. So it's you have to be able to discern, when it looks like they're winning, because sometimes their constant attacks can feel as if they're winning because they got the energy to do it. But what you're not seeing is, like I am, is I got people who are potheads. I got people who are chain smokers. I got people who are drunk, and all of a sudden they'll come in my energy and I'll feel drunk. I haven't drank in a year, anything over a year, anything, right? When I'm under warfare, I don't do all that. I mean, except for when I was fasting, and it's every other certain days I would, God would be like, go ahead and have a little bit of a drink, you know, because I know balance, right? But I don't recommend that if you can't handle it, because that also can give the devil a foothold. I remember the first time we were in the hotel and I had some Moscato, and as soon as it started to take effect, I heard this person like, yeah, and I'm like, nope. They don't realize it's like a lot of people, a lot of demons or cultists will do their witchcraft or their astral projecting when you're on your period, because they're trying to tap into that sacral chakra, that nurturer, right? When I realized that there was power in my menstrual cycle, I took all that back and rocked their world. I had somebody who basically had transferred the succubus, and this is weird. You're a succubus, but you have an STD, a bad one. You have PCOS, you have and fibroids and everything. So I mean, she's gushing blood most of the month. And so what she would do is or what she did is try, and it was infuse or project her menstrual cycle onto mine. I know how mine works, right? And the only reason why I knew that she was doing that is because I actually saw her sitting in my energy, kind of breathing in what I was going through. Because I'm like, this is not natural. This is not natural, right? And just all of a sudden, are you kidding me? So it was witchcraft. It was coming from her. When I started to go after her, then it stopped, because I've had it last for 3 weeks before. And it was literally just suddenly. It wasn't because of stress. It wasn't because of the fasting. Because when I was fasting and intermittent fasting, I was eating a lot of vegetables, drinking a lot of smoothies. So I was getting in my fruits. I was getting in my fibers. Plus, I didn't really have to do the multivitamins, because I get in those seasonings too. So when I did eat, it was seasoned very well. And sometimes I would just boil some of the seasonings as teas. So I didn't live a lifestyle um, that promoted having some type of health issue. But I realized that it was hers because she was tell me, this is what I got. A lot of times when you're a healer and they know that you're a healer, and they know that by touching the hem of your garment that they can get healed, they will tell you what ails them, so you will feel pity or sympathy for them, and automatically open yourself to allow them to siphon out that healing energy. When you take it back is when they start getting really mad, because number one, you're powerful and potent. That's why you've lasted with every attack that they've put you on you. And number two, it hurts like hell once those demons go back to work on them, because if they're attacking other people, people are attacking them, right? We're not the only ones who are aware, whether dark or light. So they're getting their karma. Their karma is to have to struggle to feed, number one, right? But it's up to you. If you're focused on when they're going to get their karma and they look so good and they look so happy, they look good because they have people that they feed off of. I thought this about the child molester lady that still, that was hiding my mail and having her gang member friends steal my mail because she was jealous I was getting mail. Mind you, I'm not talking to this person. I moved on with my life. I'm still moved on with my life, and she keeps trying to find ways to obstruct it. But it's that jealousy. It's that jealousy. Karma is knowing that you will never go back to them. Karma for them is knowing that whether in the spirit or in the flesh. Now, and I was going to say, when you do your work, Phoenixes, when you go through these 4 steps and you take my course from sealed to healed, or you do a get it off your chest, or you do, a more focused session with me, that I just haven't put them up yet. But when you do maybe a goal setting focus or something like that, right? So when you start focusing on yourself, when you get your mind off of them, the energy can flow to where it needs to go so that they get knocked off their feet, right? And sometimes it's hard. There's times where I'm like, gosh, Lord, I mean, like, can we not do this anymore? Why? What? I mean, like, come on! I'd like to I'd like to complete the coaching packages and really launch this what I have to offer. My services live instead of having to wait. Like this person is literally set me. It feels. I said, I said to the Most High, I was like, it feels like I'm set back 3 years, right? Like keep being set back 3 years. This person is literally trying to take me back, which is why they started to attack my body, do obesity spells, attack my digestive system. There was one time where I was just like, my digestive system had been fine. There was nothing wrong with her. I've been walking to work. I've been, still exercising, whether in my hotel room or going to the gym at the time. And they know they got to take your finances, right? They don't want you to be fully self-supporting. So because anytime you got finances, you can rebuild. And that's what she learned when the first time I was on the street. So it's not that they're totally completely stupid, but it's like they don't realize that you can't just get away with it, right? So because this person has put me, like right now, and yesterday when I was at my work, and I just felt this nasty presence, and then all of a sudden my stomach blew up, and I could just was uncomfortable. It was hard for me to walk. It was hard just because I felt pain, and I'm like, I didn't live that lifestyle. I walked everywhere. I did, I was doing squats, I was doing all this stuff, right? And I was talking to somebody, and I said, I was like, you couldn't tell. I mean, this was literally just like 5 months or 6 months ago. That's how fast these guys were working on me. So as I said, you have to do your work, because it's not that they're not going to stop attacking you. They're going to attack you even harder when they know that a reckoning is coming for them. But the point that you guys have to understand, to claim, you have to do your work in order to see, to get clarity, to be able to know what house you belong to. Whose house do you belong to? I'm the house of Adams. Whose house are you? We are the Phoenix Rising clan. Dig it? I am the house of Adams. So I claim our birthright. I remove from our bloodline any type of demonic entities or energies or curses, hexes or vexes that are unjustly attached or tethered or tied or bound to us. As I've decreed, so shall it be with the universe's efficiency. But I know my clan. I know my kin. So instead of focusing on when they're going to get their karma, let it go so that the ancestors can do the work for you while you heal. Dig it? So you have to go through what you got to go through with the aftermath, but let it be another tool in the excavation of getting to your higher authentic self, right? because there's going to be parts as the further on I went in my journey, the more I was able to claim and take back from my ancestry. It took a lot of discipline. There were things that I couldn't eat, there were things that I couldn't say. I was so frustrated at sometimes I was like, you know what, maybe I should switch sides. You know what I'm saying? But I would have been solo. I wouldn't have been on either side. I would have been an independent. you know So don't worry, phoenixes, about whether they're going to get their comeuppance, but do your work so that you can claim your birthright from those who took it. Because the demons, the cluster bees that are attacking you now, are the ones that have been attacking your family the whole time, and they've broken down your kingdom by attacking the same things, right? If I don't feel good about being like, I'm not happy that I've gained so much weight, right? But I know that I don't have a thyroid problem. I only started having, anyway, it's complicated, especially when it has to deal with witchcraft. But I know how hard I worked on my body. I know that when you do fast, it brings you youth and it doesn't bring you, right? But when you have people doing ugly spells because they see how beautiful you are, they see how handsome you are, they see how people are attracted to you, even in their own cult, right? It's like, yeah, I hate to do this spell on her, but she kind of fine. I've gotten that. I met one when I got here, right? I met one when I got here. Feel me? But she's attacking now. She still tries to get in. She still gets into my energy, and I have to keep removing her. And this is like every day. It's like, how do you kind of constantly obsess over being in somebody's energy? I don't understand it. But that's because I'm not a cluster B personality. I understand it intellectually, but I can't relate to it because I don't do it. I've experienced it from them, but I did not absorb their characteristics. Right? And that's the thing that they keep trying to do. It's like they really want to take on your life because they know that they're going to be reincarnated wherever it is that they are at, doing the same thing, longing, thirsting for the same thing. So they've been going through karma lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And they have no choice but to choose it, because what they were doing, some of these people, like the people who I'm dealing with, are into some really severe demonic, disgusting, perverted stuff. As I said, you get into somebody's energy and you want to play in their astral psychic waters. And like the pedophile, she confirms that she's a pedophile all the time. I'll look at a TikTok video or whatever, and then all of a sudden somebody's, this presence is doing things that I don't do because it's not a part of my personality. It's not a part of my chemical makeup. I'm a healer. I'm a mother. I'm a nurturer. And this person is salivating over. And I threw up. I couldn't take it. I was like, you need to go, right? Flipping now, right? And stay out of my energy with that crap, right? I mean, now it's coming out that, with the sex offenders and it being a regular thing, and I'm praying that it comes out, because that's what this woman wanted to do, because to me was to sex traffic me. She was grooming me, literally grooming me. And I mean, it's just the crazy stuff, because I don't think about that. Like, why would somebody think that I was that I was sex trafficable, you know? But no, the fact that they're obsessed over bringing you down still, the fact that they're still paying people, right? So if they're still paying people, that means that they got to work. They can't be lazy anymore, right? Because it's not cheap to cast a spell. Though some of those people are so you got to do more fraud, which adds to your rap sheet once you get caught, right? Because you are being surveyed, right? And that's what a lot of them don't understand. You're going to be taken down by the same people probably that hired you or was in alignment with you, right? So don't worry about their karma. Work on yourself, so that way when they do attack you, you can say, I have not, what have I to do with you? I've done nothing to you. It's my birthright to walk this earth and to walk in my destiny. I'm not swapping with anybody. I don't give you the right. I didn't say that you could come into my empire. I'm not allowing you to come into my empire. And I take back every particle of energy that you siphoned from me when I wasn't looking, or when I was, especially when I was vulnerable. And I filter it out and I multiply it and amplify it 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 back to me, and I bind and block thee from ever siphoning from me again. How many of you even think about saying that? Or do you just complain, oh, they did this now, they did this now, they did this now? What did you do to fortify your defenses? Raise up your vibration. You raise up your vibration, you have the power to decree what's going to happen to these guys. I've already said, I told her, I said, there's been things that I have told these guys in the spiritual realm that are manifesting now, because I said, because I am, Jesus said, these things I do, and you can do more. So I commanded the waves that were crashing against my boat and let them know this person is going to prison. They're going to be outed publicly as a child molester and a sex trafficker and an all in all sociopath. And everything that you have stolen from me, past, present, future, no matter what dimension or timeline, will be restored to me and my bloodline. Filtered, updated, and multiplied 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. And no one shall be able to take from me ever in my bloodline and my clan ever again. I want you to be able to speak with authority, because you see who you are and what you're worth, right? There's times where where they will try, I mean, they'll try and block your crown chakra. I've seen that. I've actually seen it's almost like when you put a lid on a pot, like, you got a big old, like I don't know what it is, like a kettle or something, right? And I've seen this person put a shield all over me, like I'm encasing you. You're my little toy thing. No, I'm not. You have no rights. I am the emperor and empress of my kingdom, because I'm a two spirit. How dare you? How dare you, a pedophile, think that you could tell me what to do, when to do it, and how to do it? It's not that they don't attack you because you haven't grown. They attack you and violently because you have. And that's a threat, and that scares the crap out of them, because they don't want you telling them what their judgment is. When you get to that, I remember I got to that point. When I got to that point, I could hear them in the realm, because this person had literally opened me up for other astral terrorists and remote viewers to see me and play with me. I mean, I had a bus driver. There were 3 like pimple things, I forget what you call those, that were formulating over one of my eyes. I asked the Most High God, I said, please show me who this is, because this is new. I don't know this. I knew that there was a lot of people in my energy. I had people, I mean, there was a lot of people in Prosperity's energy. We're worn out. I got fat. She got skinny. We're worn out. People, I was reflecting the other day. I said, people were looking at my baby girl. I was like, people were jealous of her. This is how sick these guys were and still are. People were so jealous of Prosperity and her happiness and the fact that she looks very young. There's like, well, she looks like she's a puppy because she was taken care of. She was really taken care of. But she was, she was thick. She was nothing but muscle, because we went out there, we walked, we had a good time, right? They were jealous because of that. So they would bring their big old fat, kind of semi-muscular or muscular pit bulls. She's a staffy. She's not a pit bull. She's a staffy. There's a difference. Right? And it was like there was a competition. Nobody is in competition with any of these people. The other day I met a woman who, was just walking, and I could feel her hostility. And, I was like, gosh, dang it, I'm tired of running into all these people trying to bump into me, right? So I've cleared my chakras, right? I've started doing my mantras, even hardcore, got some new ones. And especially though, when I clear my chakra, people want to get that energy. And I had a guy. I was going to the grocery store. Had a guy who literally redirected his course so that we would bump into each other. I redirected my course so that I would be way out of his reach. And he kind of looked, and I was like, I dare you to do something. You know, there are demonic entities and energies, phoenixes, that are so thirsty to be in our shoes, right? They're so thirsty to be in our shoes. So when you were once sitting there obsessing over when they're going to get their karma, as if, seeing, and I understand, because I would like to see the reward of the wicked. I would definitely like to see the reward of the wicked. But their karma is part, just know they're already getting their karma. Then just it's not just about you, because you're not their only target. You're probably not the only survivor either, which is why I've made this channel, to reach out to other survivors, especially Black women, because I know how it feels like everybody is disrespecting us, even those so-called POCs, but they're getting their karma, because they have to keep trying to find. It's hard to find good stock. It's hard to find that energy. And most of these guys are gluttonous. They're never satiated, which means they're always hungry. Ogre, always hungry. Christy, always hungry. The demons that they've conjured with are always hungry. Always hungry. And I know some of us are like, gosh, I just want it to be the way that it was before. I want my joy back. I want my peace back. I don't want to be always on red alert. I don't want to always be in this battle mode. And a lot of us go dormant, and that's when those demons attach. So the Most High told me this: just be happy. Find something to laugh at. I had to find things. It's like, you know what? I'm feeling down. Let me get something to be grateful over. And then, as the more gratitude I expressed, then came more clarity. And I saw the way that I saw where God was taking me. And I said, oh my God, your divine timing is just right on point. You have never failed me yet. Like CC Winan said, you've never lost a battle. Never lost a battle. Never. And do not, we're on the winning team. Don't mess up, because they don't want you to succeed, and they will try. I don't know about you, but I know that mine are still trying to unalive me. I have to watch where I go, and I'm constantly watching my back, because I notice there's times where I'll look back, look forward, feels like a second later, and then somebody will be right up on my butt. Right? So they're already getting their karma. Don't worry about it. But do your work so that you can make those declarations and decrees like I've done, right? Check out the links in the description, because I have some journals that are on sale for at Amazon. I'm going to change the cover. So I'm really trying to update. And I know I kept saying, okay, I'm going to launch now. I'm going to launch now. I'm going to launch now. And really, I'm just going to have to wait until the Most High God is ready, ready for me. And God says, like, look, you're the one that keeps frustrating yourself, because you keep wanting to do things anyway. And I'm just telling you to rest, right? So don't worry about their karma. Rest and do your work. Get your healing. Ask the Most High God to reveal to you what you need, what needs to be revealed, so that you can go on to the next step, so that you're not hindered. So that way, when you get into your purpose, you're going to save a life, because you were obedient. You feel me? All right. I hope that this was helpful to you guys. I'm sorry that I'm stuttering, but it truly, truly, truly has. I've been dealing with witchcraft attacks for the last 2 days. And yeah, it's been a bit of a battle. And we just got into our new place, and I wasn't able to celebrate, but I'm happy, you know. It was better than where we were going to go or where I was trying to go. So that's why I had to give the Most High God thanks, because I'm like, okay, you're awesome, dude. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So yeah. So anyway, thank you for any donations. I appreciate you guys, really, really, really. And again, check out if you want to schedule or get it off your chest. I have so what is it? 35 minutes for $40. And you can go to the link in the description, Phoenix's Rising Academy, and then through my link tree, you'll find, you know, where it's like you can pay for it, and I'll get the message. So just let me know too, when if you do buy, let me know what it is that you're looking for. There are some questions, so answer those questions, but also DM me for just to let me know what it is that you're going over, because there's some, again, I'm a coach. I'm not a psychiatrist or a counselor. Okay. So I don't want to get those confused or misrepresent myself or my services. All right. But I do love you guys. And remember, that was Hazel. I love you guys. And remember, your blessings are in your ashes. Rise, Phoenix.